All right. Says I'm live. Finally. Please don't let this be a mind F. You guys seeing this stuff? All right. That is a continually frustrating mess. I apologize. I don't know. I guess, Mark, I'm going to have to offer you some US dollars to come out here and wrap your brain around this thing if you want. The only thing, yesterday I was having a lot of trouble. Today I was having trouble. And today I know I did an update. There was another update this morning. I don't know what that would have done or not done. I mean, I don't know what it could have changed anything, or generally this a pain in the butt. So that's kind of what's going on right now, is just trying to figure this stuff out. So we're here. I'm still whatever I am, half baked. Let's try a little transition. There you go. How's that? So still in OBS. I think the problem is the stupid Grande communication stuff. I don't know. It's been acting weird for a couple weeks. Anyway, that gone. Happy 9/11. It's amazing that, like, the amount of coverage that it's not really seeming to be getting. And I'm being sarcastic. I think that stuff was really messed up. I just thought it was strange, you know. So this morning I was on Instagram, and there's this guy that I know named Noah, and he did a post, and I totally forgot that it was 9/11. I forgot all about that terrible stuff, and then I had like a lot of memories come back. Because my mom, I was living in California then, in LA, and I remember my mom called me and woke me up because she thought we were getting bombed by somebody. Because I think that she turned on the TV and she just saw the World Trade, one of the towers burning or something. So she thought we were getting bombed by somebody because she had lived through all that stuff. She lived through the Depression, and then Pearl Harbor. And a guy that she knew in high school got blown up by a grenade, and like all her class went to fight in World War II. And my mom was older, obviously, and so I thought it was super weird. And I remember getting up, and I was sleeping on the couch at that time, so the TV was right in front of me. I looked at the TV, and probably like everybody, like watched that for almost 1 or 2 days, or maybe even 3 days. Where you're just like, you know, what you're seeing is completely unbelievable. So, the media swipe that I'm talking about, I'm not going to get into this too much because there's so much, there'd be so much to get into. I'm not an expert. But I mean, stuff has been slowly happening and going on in this country that I feel is really suspect, and it has to do with the erasing of information, and kind of like the double speak, and rewriting history and all this other stuff. So I just remember the thing that was super weird is being so like traumatized, even just from watching on TV. I remember seeing like all the bodies and stuff. People were jumping off the buildings, and there was a story of a chaplain or a priest that worked with the fire department in New York, and he was issuing last rites to a firefighter, and he in a body, someone had jumped off the building, hit him. So I think a body goes like about 99 miles an hour. I think is about as fast as it can go. So he was hit by 180 80-pound person that was traveling at 99 miles an hour. Killed that guy immediately. Messed up some other people that were standing around, and I just remember that story. And later, going back to try to find all that footage I remember seeing, and realizing, and I don't know how far after it was, after the event, 6 months, 3 months or something. Anyway, they wiped all that info. I'll just try and go do a search and try and find a bunch of footage of people jumping off the World Trade Center, and I haven't been able to find it. There's a whole documentary about one guy that jumped that was like identified, and I think it's on Netflix. It's uh, it's really hard, it's freaking horrible. Um, so all the politics aside, I think politics is 100% manufactured BS. Still, there's the Frank Zappa quote. It's politics is the entertainment branch of the vast military-industrial complex. I totally believe that that's true. Um, all this stuff is BS. All this political stuff is complete BS. Um, I don't even want to get into all that. But anyway, I just think about how horrific it had to be to die all the different ways you could probably die if you're either in a plane or in a building or on the ground, and how horrible it must be for all the people in New York to watch this happen, and also how messed up it has to be a family member of a victim or a New Yorker and see parts of this stuff being erased and kind of shuffled away. And it seems like it's really like a systemic problem where we're like I think we're at getting to Stasi level. Stasi's the police from East Germany. There's a basically, if you can get your what you want to be able to do is get your citizens to police each other and rat each other out, because everyone's so paranoid about being the next person to get ratted out that you want to make sure that you rat someone out before you. And I think that's pretty much what's going on. I think it's going to get really maybe worse, and then I think it's probably people are gonna realize, like, hey man, it doesn't matter where you are on the political spectrum. We're all getting played. If you buy into all that nonsense, I'm like mostly apolitical. I just watch it as a detached viewer to see what I believe is a bunch of media manipulation and lies and fabrication and all this other stuff going on that somehow continues to divide people. And I grew up in the 70s, so I know what certain things felt like then, and you can't tell me that it's better now in certain areas. You just can't. The amount of ridiculous, like, bickering. Well, I think what happens is the internet gives a great place for us to actually figure out what people are mostly like. They're mostly a-holes. And so you just get to see it play out time and time again. You get to see people turn on each other. You get to see people like triggered and get all their endorphins up from having like internet battles with each other. And mostly, if that was happening in Texas when I was growing up, you would just be called a big Pussy, pussy. Because that's just stuff you do on your magical keyboard TV machine. And if you met someone in public at the grocery store, like, none of that would ever happen. You would probably just shut your mouth. I would think. But anyway, yeah. So I just wanted to talk about that mostly because the tragic kind of erasing of part of the information that is that story. Whether you believe a bunch of the other, if you believe that it was the Saudi, these are all Saudi assassins, or these are guys from the middle of a desert that learned how to fly 747s and huge planes in one day, or whatever. Um, the fact that all this stuff I feel like is being manipulated and partially erased is the main thing that makes me feel really really bad about it. Um, and then there's probably plenty of people in America here that might be totally happy. There's probably some Canadians that are totally happy, Europeans totally happy, people who somehow think that people deserve to be burned alive. Maybe I don't know. But that's like that kind of weird fantasy thinking. If it was an actual situation and you had someone who you really, really, really disagreed with, and you were given an opportunity to be like, hey, here they are. They're in a chair. They're wearing a seatbelt. They can't move. Why don't you just set them on fire? And then you watch, and then see how well adjusted you are after that. I don't think people are really. Uh, Most people are not really killers. Of course, there's horrible, horrible killers, and you know, I don't know if like this whole political bent stuff is somehow you're not going to breed murder out of humans. I don't think. Um, at least that's my theory. That trying to like socially engineer and bend things politically one way or the other, creating some kind of like peaceful utopia. It's not how people work. Weird, murderous people pop up from all different kinds of places, and I don't believe a lot of it has to do with environment. Although it does at certain times. You can't deny like what they do to the African kids that are turned into kid soldiers, kid murderers, um, forced to do terrible things and get on drugs and all that. But basically, humans, I always go back and forth, like probably like anyone else. Humans are complete shit, or we're not. But it's mostly you could drive yourself nuts. I think trying to figure this stuff out. Um, but the main thing again is you're being lied to. You're being manipulated. And I don't like it when I think that they shuffled off a bunch of this news because they think that people can't handle it. Maybe people can't handle or shouldn't see what it looks like when a plane hits a building and a bunch of people have to jump off the roof, and what it looks like when they smash through, you know, some glass and smash onto the pavement or smash into other people. Like that somehow we can't take it. We can't put that in perspective. We can't like absorb that. Um, I feel like that was the starting of like of a crazy shift when I noticed that they didn't. They just cut that stuff off. But that's not really my purpose of rat talk. But it is. I feel like I want to get to know you guys. You guys get to know me. You'll hopefully you'll realize my belief system I think is based on I hope is based mostly on common sense, and I don't lean. There's no way I lean hard either way, because that's not realistic. That's not how you get a group of people to work together. It doesn't work. There's obviously really, really terrible stuff that happens on the fringes of society for people who have to self-identify with politics. And I guess I like to think I'm from the William S. Burroughs school. And William S. Burroughs, the author of Naked Lunch and Junkie and a bunch of other stuff, was, I'm gonna use some labels, and this is what he was totally against. You want to get to know me? That looks like that looks like kind of like a Pac-Man and a custard mixed together, but I'll take it. You know me, kind of. Um, so William S. Burroughs, for he hated labels, right? So he did Junkie, this book, Naked Lunch. He was a gay guy in the 50s. He was a junkie. He had like a lot of you know engaged in a lot of behavior that wouldn't have been popular at the time. But he really hated any kind of labels like that, and I think that's the problem. And it's also reflected in a so labels is the problem, right? Labeling people is a problem. For a lot of obvious reasons. Using adjectives and descriptors to describe people is not racist nor a problem, I think, at all. I think what William S. Burroughs was, trying to say, and this was way back in the 50s and 60s, is, he's a writer. He is not a gay writer. He's not a junkie writer. He is a writer. And really, to put those kinds of labels on things shows kind of your. I think his philosophy was like it kind of shows like your sub-intelligence. Like you have oversimplify the world so you can maneuver in it. I guess without your brain melting out of your ears or whatever. So as far as the way I handle descriptors of people, it's the easiest way to get things done. Is it a boy or a girl? Usually helps. If it's somewhere in between, then there's kind of descriptors for that you could use, and you always want to be respectful. It's really, really simple. Color of skin is another descriptor. It's not racist at all. It just happens to be like if I want to find someone in a crowd and I don't know them, and someone needs to tell me what they look like, those are descriptors. That has nothing to do with any of the racism. And it has nothing to do with negative labeling, or it doesn't have anything to do with profiling or any of that garbage. And so he would obviously William S. Burroughs was really against all kinds of labels, and that ties into part of the other philosophy I have, and it works. And this is from like the artistic side of things, and it's only because I read the book, the War of Art, and I never remember the guy's name who wrote it. And he talks about people who overly identify with descriptors. If you want to be a working artist, you're better to do the work than talk about how much of an artist you are and talk about art fart stuff all day long and the art of it all. Like I know people like that who are great artists. Whatever. For me, I don't like to talk about all the shit that I do or don't do because I don't really like to talk that much. I like to talk a lot here because this is set up for me to do pretty much that. This is me getting to know you guys, me telling you what's going on with Junker, explaining what contests are going on, and this is about building the business. I want to build the business online on YouTube because I want to be able to do tutorials. I want people to be able to enjoy and learn from watching me do a bunch of crap that I've learned over the past 16 or 17 years. Rehearsal? What are you rehearsing for? Everyone that's slick. He's from Germany. He always pops in. You'll always see Rob. Rob King is usually in here. Mark Weaver's in here. Rose Halechika. Well, terrible with pronouncing that. Bonnie. So there's not many of us in here, but that's fine because you guys will spread the word. You're going to make sure to like and comment and subscribe and do all that stuff and follow this channel. So basically, labels are ways. For me, those are descriptors. That's how you can identify people in a visual sense. As far as descriptors that would describe other people's behavior, that's where it starts getting a little weird. And And so I think that's what William S. Burroughs was saying, And then right now, like there's so many trendy labels for people that it's just fucking ridiculous. Um, if you're I guess a human that has no way to contribute, maybe you're going to focus on a bunch of your descriptors to somehow give you some kind of validation or rank of importance based on your physical attributes and possibly lifestyle choices. But anyway, this turned into like a weird rant. Basically, the best thing that my parents did for me, they said, you don't talk to people about politics. You don't ask them how much money they make. You introduce yourself. You're polite, and then you judge them on how they act. Like what's their character, and it's really easy, super easy. But we can't do that because there's forces at work, lots of money involved, and lots of people to try to manipulate. So I'm not going to be one of them. I'm not giving into any of that. Try not to give into any of that BS. You can do things to become less triggered if you want to do the work, but a lot of people are addicted to that feeling of being triggered and angry and having their endorphins get tickled and having their hair stand up and getting a little sweaty and having some weird justifiable anger. But anyway, that's enough of that, I promise. So anyway, back to my dog fat diet I'm on right now. This shit is delicious. So I am drinking this. This is enriched Ravenclaw with rosemary, toad skin, and axle grease. It says it right here. You can get this at your 7-Eleven, and if you get it, you can go way in the back where no one can see you and add it to a beverage of your choosing, and it'll really get you out there. Once again, a Raven's Claw, rosemary, toad skin, axle grease, and hairspray. It's the Breakfast of Champions right here. They don't pay me for that. I do that willingly as a believer in the product, as a believer in the powers of toad skin, axle grease, hairspray, rosemary, dog water, and fly vomit. Won't you join me? Won't you? Oh no, Mark! Uh-oh. Okay, so Mark's not on the dog skin, but now Mark is on frog fuel. I took some frog fuel this morning as well. So frog fuel, they're not paying me either, although I'm trying to get them to, is gnarly. It's good stuff. It's developed by a bunch of Navy SEALs. It's what you take before you kill people. And I'm a big supporter of our armed forces. I'm just saying, Navy SEALs do all kinds of crazy stuff. You have to be the top tippity top percent of badasses to get in there, like SEAL Team 6 and all those guys. I guess they run on frog fuel. Some of these guys, like, I guess, hopefully they're out of the military now, but they developed this stuff, and that somehow it ended up on set. I see I'm like jittery. Dog fat and frog fuel and some espresso shots from earlier today, and it'll really get you out there. Showed up on set when we were filming Heroics in Austin. I tried it. I like this stuff. I wrote them on Instagram. I followed them on Facebook. I'm going to try to do some kind of something. Maybe we could do some Marvel team-up thing. Frog versus Toad or something like that. But yeah, I'm into that stuff. So the stuff that's going on, what are the benefits? Well, you feel like you can kill a village with your bare hands, a small village of 20 people. I would say, um, 20 people that, eight kids under the age of 12, some women, and about 7 men who are of fighting age. And you can kill them all with your bare hands and possibly a stick. Yeah. And this is all jokes. It's all jokes and jokes. What were we talking about? Oh, so Saturday we're gonna try the live sale again. That's gonna be Saturday afternoon. Probably around 12. Do that for a couple hours. Then I'm gonna draw again. It's gonna be the Exploder contest. We're gonna finish it up. This is the last head that we got. It looks like this. This is the last. This guy. This guy. This guy here. Hey, Aaron, new subscriber. So that's the head for Exploder. I'm pretty happy with that one. The body's already done. This is part of that giveaway for you guys to go ahead and get the Hugo Jacket all leather. Like, come on. Spread the word. I'm trying to spread the word. I'm still trying to do some interviews with some people on YouTube that are big fish that I can talk about all the stuff that I've been working on. We'll see. But so it's got to go. I got to sell 2,000 tickets. I don't know how many I've sold. I was in Sweden for a week, so like I kind of lost track of what was going on as far as a lot of that stuff. Now I'm back on track. Now there's tons of cool stuff happening, like the sale, like back on the Exploder tip. Doing research about the EU production, which would be good for Slick and some other people. I have to talk actually with some Germans. Some Germans at the end of the month who were some really fucking cool guys. And they would probably help me figure out how to do other production things. And I really want to talk to them about doing some mashups and see if they'll carry Junker in their stores. They have I think a few stores. And I can't really give you much details on that because I don't want to give away any of the cool stuff. There's still the space in Sweden that the production could be done out of. There is some possibilities to sell in Poland straight away. There's a great guy in England who's looking to try to get me like a booth space in Camden Lock area in London, which is where all like the punks and everybody hang out around there. It would be for me to try to sell probably mostly like T-shirts and hats and like the regular stuff. I'm not sure how really expensive jackets would go over in England, although I have like really, really great clients in England that have bought tons of jackets and stuff. I just don't know how that would work like on the street, for people just strolling. Maybe one or two jackets there would be pretty cool. So the other thing we're talking about is like, what is a perfect T-shirt? So how this philosophy even came about is outfit building. And, you don't really think about this stuff much later on. Much later on I started to give it a little bit of thought, like, well, how do I figure out what I'm wearing? And I always start with, you have to find the T-shirt first. Like, the T-shirt is the first thing that you find. I don't know how other people do it. If you put on tops first, or you put on bottoms first, or how you want to do it, I have no idea. But for me, I have to have the T-shirt has to be first. But if the T-shirt's white, you don't wear light ass color jeans with a white T-shirt, because then you're just like a kind of a light pencil-y color, And if you wear a black T-shirt, you can wear black jeans, and you can wear anything in the spectrum. Okay, from black all the way to lighter blue. I mean, I stopped like right before it gets to like really light blue Levi's color. Once it gets too blue, I just feel like I'm in a '70s movie, and my legs are skinny, and I feel weird. So the perfect T-shirt, of course, is totally subjective. But so like how I grew up, and this will give you a little insight. My mom always cleaned the windows of our house with my dad's old ass T-shirts, and because they grew up in the Depression, my dad would never, he would never throw out his T-shirts. So when I was growing up, I was used to wearing my dad's T-shirts to bed. I started like smuggling out of them. I would smuggle them out of the laundry room. They were with the rags section, but these were the T-shirts that were all ripped. They were totally like threadbare, like super super fucking soft. And that's how I got kind of hooked on thin, torn up T-shirts, and then I guess torn up clothing in general. It's like I just knew I associated with it, with the smell of my mom's laundry, and with the really super soft like feeling of these T-shirts. Man, they're so thin, so threadbare. It's awesome. Um, so later on, when I started thinking about how you construct your outfit around a T-shirt, it's always a T-shirt that had to have some of those qualities. I'm not quite uh, as strict anymore, but having really thin T-shirts was really important for a long time. Luckily, right now I've got probably about 800 of these burnout T-shirts in LA that don't even have anything printed on them yet. That I'm still trying to figure out what's the right kind of graphic. You can get some of them are online. It's the new Junker Designs lettering. It's like black silver printed on a black burnout T-shirt. I mean, if you were a girl and you wore one of these without a bra, I mean, you can see through them pretty well. Just to give you an example, if you had tattoos, you would see the tattoos through the T-shirt. Like that's how thin they are. You would see pretty much most of your body details through the T-shirt. Um, so I do have those, man. I really like them, but that was the feeling probably that got me addicted to having the T-shirt being kind of the main component of your fashion ensemble, because I was in love with these T-shirts, and then the jeans kind of had to make sense, and then the T-shirt had to be not too short, but short enough so people could realize you're wearing a vintage Kiss belt buckle. Because when I was growing up, I never knew where to get them. Eventually, like in the '90s, I started getting all the Kiss belt buckles and started wearing that stuff. So you wanted a T-shirt that was like, not short enough where you see like the skin between the top of your jeans and like your stomach. You don't want to like show like some little like stomach there, but you want it to just be just like at the very edge of your jeans, so your belt buckle will kind of poke out. And then if it's a little bit longer, I would just stick the front of my T-shirt into my pants, because I really liked showing everyone that I had a Kiss belt buckle on. So, but then again, see, it's constructed around the T-shirt. Then I always wear a belt. Right now, I just wear a belt that's got a bunch of like pyramid spikes on it. It's my favorite. No belt buckle, because I learned like you wear those Kiss belt buckles enough and do a bunch of crazy shit, like they break. I mean, they're from the '70s. They're not going to last forever. So pretty much, I put the Kiss belt buckles and the Rush belt buckles and all that stuff. I think it's Pacifica is the company that made all the cool '70s belt buckles. Those are basically mostly in retirement because I don't want to keep breaking them. I've got a really badass like love gun one too, but that'd be a very very special occasion for me to whip out that one. But maybe I would for something. I'm not really sure. Um, so that's how I would construct an outfit. So if let's just do the white t-shirt. So if the t-shirt is white, your jeans have to be dark, obviously. And yeah, yeah, that would be badass. Yeah, we could probably just start making these belt buckles over again. The problem with the Pacifica belt buckle on the back, because Rose just said something about taking mold. The thing is that it's kind of like a crappy sticker that's put on a kind of crappy belt buckle, and then they resin over the top. And then the part that usually breaks is the two nubs on the back, you know, where the kind of like the. Hold on, just hold on. Of course, I can't find the belt buckle when I want to show everyone the belt buckle. I got a bunch of them in here somewhere anyway. So the back, you know, has the two nubs where the kind of little roundy kind of metal party thing goes in there. So usually one of those nubs is the thing that cracks. So the part you'd run your belt through, that piece of metal there, is like pretty much useless. So somehow in my adventures, I ended up scoring a bunch of the Rush stickers that are for the belt buckles. You know, so they're like this big. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. And then, you know, the sticker was usually printed on that prismatic disco paper or whatever. So Kiss, you know, had like the disco-y shit like in the lettering, and then Rush had the disco stuff in the lettering. It's those belt buckles, and they always break. Well, rad, Slick. Have fun at band practice. You have to let us know like what your band sounds like. Put up a link or something. We can all go have a listen to your music. So yeah. So white t-shirt, then you have darker pants. That once the pants get a little bit too light, if we're talking about jeans, like there's a certain shade of blue that is too light for me, and then I can't deal with it. And then the other thing to remember, at least for me, if I'm wearing a white t-shirt, for the most part, the same thing goes on top. Like if I wouldn't wear a jean jacket that was too light. I like to have like the contrast: white t-shirt, darker jacket, white t-shirt, darker pants. If you wear a black t-shirt, then all the mostly all the rules apply the same way, except for the lighter jean part. You can go if you're wearing a black t-shirt, you can go like really pretty light on the bottom, but you have to keep the top has to be dark, the jacket. And this is the way I think about stuff when I start off with a t-shirt. So like what is the what's the best t-shirt? Well, probably a t-shirt that you've is threadbare and that you've done had some sex in, and one that has like some special memories, and one that's got some holes and tears in it, and one that you didn't buy at Wasteland for $250. Hopefully one that you got from a garage sale or a thrift type of arrangement. Or perhaps if, you know, the person you were having sex with, the T-shirt trade-off happens when you have boyfriends, girlfriends, or someone you're dating or whatever. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's really good. Sometimes that's really bad because I like my T-shirts. I don't like them to disappear without me knowing about it and then having to see it at a party on somebody. I don't like that. But when you do like T-shirt swapping with someone you're having a good time with and someone who you like a lot, I think that's really cool. That's super cool. So that's a super special T-shirt that can get traded back and forth between people who like each other, and it makes it all the better. And when we used to do that when I was growing up, I mean, you don't ever wash it. Of course not, because then I get my stink on it, then the girl I'm going out with gets her patchouli stink on it, and then she gives it back to me, and then I get my stink, and you just go back and forth until it turns into this. It's a representative of the odorific adventures of your life as a couple. It's a scratch and sniff version of your relationship that other people could or could not possibly enjoy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You can use a magical hippie rock to try to take away the BO if you want to, but I don't think that they actually work. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having a little bit of smell going on. And if you do some world traveling, you're going to realize most of the world does not give a F if there's some smell going on. Some places are quite strong, and other countries I've been to is moderate. But I wonder if you think the people in the United States are the cleanest or the most perfumic, or would you guess the French? Go ahead and vote below. You can vote below. Is the uh, most enhanced perfumic wise the French, or do you think it's the members of the United States of America? What do you think? And just go ahead and tap in your votes now. I will tabulate them at the end of the show, and then we'll be able to see, all the hard research, all the hard facts presented to feel it out, to suss it out. Who is the most odorifically perfumic members of the planet Earth? And if I haven't, managed to mention a group that you agree with, then you can write in your votes below, and I will tabulate all of your votes. French perfume. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I've only been to Paris a couple times, and I don't remember like a lot of. I don't remember a lot of good smelling perfume, but that's probably where I was. It was what do you call it? I was overwhelmed by tourist perfume because I was at the galleries and stuff by the Louvre, or whatever you want to call it. So perhaps that is the reason why. And then I noticed in Japan I didn't smell anything. I mean, I smelled like kind of clean people, but I don't remember smelling any heavy perfume or anything in Japan. Indonesia, I don't remember smelling any perfumes. Nor in Sweden. Some in England, maybe. Definitely some in France. But write in your comments below. I'm going to put in my vote. I'm going to say French. French are the most Perfume. Perfume. That's probably a word that I just made up. But anyway, we're gonna use that. Um, yeah. So that's the pretty much the philosophy around the T-shirt, and how you pick a T-shirt is based on those qualities. It would be, uh, you know, if you don't have your special boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, lover T-shirt, shareable T-shirt, that's always super special. Then it's based on just the softness in the wear, and then tragically hilarious prints. And I have a few of those around here. So for a while, like if you go enough thrift storing and flea markets, you'll just find the most bizarre shirts. I sold a bunch of my shirts to a girl at Bohemia. It's a shop in Austin, and it was like the like Catholic Charities all male fun run or something retarded like that with some crazy artwork on it. Anyway, like a lot of that kind of stuff. I love that stuff. The totally rando, stuff that comes from a smaller community. Like a big old bucket of catfish fish fry, or something like that. I like that stuff a lot. Then of course, there's Star Wars. There's like probably half my closet Star Wars T-shirts. The other half is Rush T-shirts, and then I think there's actually there's a few Blade Runner shirts, but I tend to buy like chunks of T-shirts, so I have probably like 8 or 10 Empire Strikes Back shirts that are all the same because they come from Five Below. I think I've talked about this before. Rush shirts that I like, I buy 2 or 3 at a time. And Blade Runner shirt that I like, I think I bought 4 of those at a time. It's like a Tears and Rain thing in black and white. It's got Rucker Hauer on it. At one time, I actually had some Blade Runner iron-ons that I got from the Rose Bowl flea market in Los Angeles, and like a freaking dummy, I left them in somebody's car. And then she died, unfortunately. And then all her friends had a garage sale to sell all of her stuff, and I didn't want to go. What do you do? Like, hey, those Blade Runner iron-ons are mine. That someone's dead, someone who passed away, their garage sale or whatever. It's just been totally weird. So I didn't want to do that. So I didn't do that. So once again, how am I talking here? I can't even tell. This is wow, 48 minutes. That's amazing. Gonna run the mouth. So Saturday at noon, there's a big sale. That means $20 T-shirts, $20 hoodies, and $20 vintage leather jackets that are in my garage. I need to make room for a bunch of other stuff, and I want to get that stuff out of there. And then the next thing after that is at 2 on Saturday is the Exploder drawing thing, and that's I'm really distracted by Rob right now. Rob says that Rush played the first U.S. show right down this road from me. Look it up, Pineway Trails. I believe you. And then Slick is saying it's hard to get good T-shirts in Germany. Well, I can imagine. I mean, imagine you have really awesome German T-shirts that us over here in the United States would love to have, even though we might not know what they say. It might be really cool. And then make sure to look at Robert is saying that I'd say French are cleaner and more hygienic. I don't know, or if you, yeah. I say that's 50-50. Probably like Americans. And then Mark, I want to make sure to talk about what Mark had to say. So, Mark, do you make outfits for cosplay people? Yeah, I have done some stuff for cosplay people, and I'm doing like some Alita stuff for some people coming up. And that's like a whole area, a whole other area that I am starting to learn how to deal with these other types of supplies. A lot of the cosplay play, a lot of the cosplay people like a nice tight harness up around their pony region, and that works well for most, but not all. But for cosplayers, there's a lot of this EVA foam construction that goes on, and that's some stuff that I just recently started getting into. And that is a cheaper, lighter, more easily to transport type of material you can make crazy giant costumes out of. And there is really good people online doing cool stuff. So the people that I've looked at is there's a guy Evil Ted, there's Punished Props, there's Kamui, Cosplay are the main ones that I keep referring back to. I was learning how to use all these cool supplies recently, and it's a whole different ball game. It's something I'm totally into. Um, it could be really profitable. I'm not really sure. It's kind of like hard to figure, you know. I think if I saw, I'd have to see a lot of orders come in to really get into it, because you got to buy all that foam, and that's not typically the supplies that I have here. But one or two big jobs, yeah, it is like Guar style costumes, but these things way, way, much less than those Guar costumes from way back that I saw, at least. Um, well, I always make stuff for skinny dudes because actually, I mean, at one time I was 135 pounds. Now I'm, I think, 155 or somewhere around there. Um, so yeah, I have chicken legs. So everything I make is comes in skinny to big. We do like a triple X, quadruple X. For us, like triple X, Jonathan Vona special, and sizes around there go up to almost like 52-inch chest. So that's like a pretty big guy. Um, our our small, I think our medium is a 38-inch chest if it's a jacket. I think the small is 36. Yeah, I did mess around with that. And then, so when we're talking about cosplay and effects, like Rose is asking about this ink that we were messing around with one day. This puff ink, like puff paint ink. And it's, I need to mess with it some more. Oh, I was thinking about doing some T-shirts and doing some other cool effects with it, but it's you just gotta experiment with it more to get the mixture right. If it gets too puffy, it goes like puffs up like a big puff, and then it unpuffs itself, so you get like a wrinkle freaking prune thing on there, which would be pretty cool to have like some weird crackly pruny prints, but I don't know like what's gonna happen to it. Like if that's gonna wash off in the wash immediately, or when you're having a hot date, if it's gonna like just start shedding or something. All right, see you later, Rob. Uh-oh, I hear Noodles. Does she need to take a nap? All right, my kid's got to take a nap. So I think I've talked long enough. I really appreciate you guys showing up. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to share it. Make sure to leave some comments. I think you have to wait till I stick it up, which is going to be like in a second. But my banana needs to take a nap. That's what we call the little one. I'm not going to show you now. Maybe tomorrow. She got a new dark crystal themed dress. It's darling. And otherwise, I'll talk to you guys. Yeah, I guess tomorrow. I'll see you guys again. All right, thanks a lot.